Bills fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this was likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up, the Bills! It's not house flag! It's not house flag! Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Homie, now listen. Everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we tripping. They better get out our way. Top of the table, we flipping. We on a mission. Got an unstoppable team. Continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
Cause we done Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we done Buffalo.
And a good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. I am your co-host, Beyond 716, here with the one and only Whittle 2K here on this Friday night. A little bit late off the ground, but that's how we do things here on our show. So, we grow casually late entrance, right? So we'll take it this week.
Fashionably late.
Fashionably late. There you go, Whittle. Whittle always setting the fashion here, so we're good. So, can you believe it? We made it to December, folks. These seasons, we wait so long for the Bill season to come, and bam, it's already December. I mean, we're in the best part, and wants to welcome Uncle Jay right in here, right off the bat. Good to see you, Jay. And Whittle, we're feeling better this week, right? It's about that time, and we've been grown accustomed to this era of the Bills taking shape around this time of year. So excellent win. Yeah, and I'm going to say this too. Listen, I love that hat, Whittle. That hat is really nice. That's a fire, as they say, right? That's a real nice hat. So I got to look at it getting me one.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's a great hat. So what a welcome. Great to see Charles, Uncle Jay. Great to see Dog in here. And listen, big win for the Buffalo Bills this past week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bills are now 8-4, kind of cementing us a little bit. Now we're still the 7th seed, but it was such a big win just to get the Steelers off our back. And here come the Cincinnati Bengals this week with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the gang back. So we'll get into that as we go on, and we will also recap the week that was, and we will talk about the newest Buffalo Bill that has entered the building as we go through the show. So how you doing, Whittle? How you feeling after? I know you said you went to Pittsburgh, so the floor is yours. Wanted to hear about your trip and everything, how that went.
It was cool, man. Oh, so it looks like I'm frozen.
You're frozen up? I can
me?
see you.
Yeah.
No, I can see you a little bit, though. It's just been a little bit, this system's been a little bit wonky, to be honest. So
it's a little wonky. I apologize for, it being a little late.
Me too. I was as well. Yep. Yeah, like I said, we're fashionably late.
You were probably out for better reasons than I was, but
yeah.
anyway,
yeah.
I Yeah, so I drove out. I drove out to Pittsburgh, met up with LeSean, Patrick, and a bunch of other guys. Um, Tom was out there. I got Tom, Carl. A bunch of the guys from Twitter. They were
Nice.
out there to watch the game, man. So
Mm-hmm.
that was great, man. And it was the Buffalo Bills experience. But before I get into the game, I'm going to talk a little bit about Pittsburgh. It was a nice, cool drive. It wasn't too crazy. It was about the same amount of time it takes to get to
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, and it was nice, man. Like I got out there, it was I've always liked the city of Pittsburgh. I've been out there a number of times, but I've never been to an actual game. Um, in Pittsburgh, and it was nice to get there, go to the stadium, kind of see a fan base that kind of rivals ours as far as like traveling, et cetera, et cetera. So
Mm-hmm.
it was nice to go out there, see them, and in their glory, and it was a fun experience. The fans were very welcoming. It felt like a college town, like Pittsburgh feels like a college town.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit like Buffalo, just a bit bigger. Um,
Yes.
and everybody there, Steelers fans. Like I was outside with Buffalo stuff on, and it was like, what are you doing here? It was nice. That was I enjoyed that because
Yeah.
that's kind of the same vibe you get up in Western New York. If you're a Bills fan, you're good. If you're not, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was fun. Like I had a good time, man. And we get to the stadium. There wasn't a lot of trash talking from Steeler fans. Like, I mean, it was a little bit, but you expect it.
Yeah.
I did notice. I did feel like there was a good amount of mutual respect between the two fan bases. Um, Tomlin and McDermott played together in college, so
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be that connection. And man, it was just a really good experience. I had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, before the game. Game starts right before the kickoff. There was this like video that went on the jumbotron, and they're like, they show like T.J. Watt, and they have all these different like, uh, they have like a montage of different Steeler players on the roster, and it's like this real like dark, ominous music, like
Mm-hmm.
they right out of like a horror flick or whatever. Well, maybe not a horror flick, but like like you're getting ready to walk into the dungeon,
Yeah.
or fight fight a battle. It was like that type of music, and they're like the Bills know what's coming. This is Steel
Mm-hmm.
City, where physical like, and they're just like really pumping up their physicality, and like the
Yep.
whole time I'm just sitting there like, well, what's coming? I don't know. Like, what are you guys gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. The fans there, the Steelers fans, kind of got into it a little bit too, and it was fun. Um, and then the game started. Josh Allen throws an interception. Just it was like a slow game. Josh threw an interception that I really feel like Gabe Davis could have made a better effort for, and maybe
Yeah.
it's not an interception; it's an incomplete pass. But I mean, that was something that we um, took issue with Gabe before. So I thought he could have made a better effort on that play. Um, but it is what it is. He didn't, and it turned into an interception. Um, yeah, dog. I got to, bro. I got to tell the truth. Yeah, that was that
Mm-hmm.
on that play. Run game was hit or miss. Passing game looked a little weird for everybody for both sides. Um, It was windy. It was cold. Definitely tough to catch the football. Like when I say
Yeah.
it was cold, it was like cold, cold. Like I'm sure the ball felt like a rock
Yeah.
by how cold it was. So, oh wow, I think when Gabe is on the field, Allen is at his worst when it comes to pass IQ. So many balls didn't get tipped or picked. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
can't disagree with that because you know we can go back and look at 2023 when Gabe Davis was um we're playing in Denver. The ball goes right through his hands into the arms of I want to say
Was this?
Simmons.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. But Outside of that, all right. So the passing game, a little slow, doesn't look great. They start to run Josh, and that starts to work, right? That starts to work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they also, I did think that we did have some success running the football in the first half, but next thing you know, James Cook's trying to step out of a tackle or step away from a tackle, knocks the ball out of his own hands. That's a fumble. They get the ball inside, their 40 or 30 or whatever it was, and they end up scoring a touchdown off of that after we had gotten a field goal earlier. So
Mm-hmm.
halftime, it's 7-3, and I'm already in panic mode now because it's like, bro, we are really about to lose to the Steelers, and then we got the Bengals coming up. We can't beat the Steelers. I know we can't beat the Bengals. Like this, we're really probably not going to make the playoffs. So I step out, go to the concessions, and this lady was in line. She had a Bills hat on and a Steelers hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She says she's a fan of both. Since she lives in Pittsburgh, so she loves the Steelers, but she's from Western New York, so the Bills are in her heart. That's what she said. Whatever. Then she told me about the French fries. She's like, "Yeah, the French fries here are amazing. They're fresh cut. Blah, blah, blah. I got the fries. They were good."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While I'm in line to get the fries, halftime starts. I mean, halftime's over, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kickoff. Joey Bosa strip sack. I see that I pick up, Scuba score. I'm like, all right, let me call. I call LeSean. LeSean, bro. As soon as I leave, the team starts playing better. I'm just about to stay out here. He's like, man, come on, bro. Come back to the seat. It's not you. It's not you. I said, all right, no problem. I'm still waiting in line. Right. Very next offensive play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mason Rudolph comes in, throws an interception.
Yep.
I said, I picked up the phone again. Benford picks the interception, picks the ball up. I called him. I said, dog, I'm staying out here. I'm like, it's me, bro. And just so, the viewers, you guys understand, I have been to, like, this was the 4th road game that I have been to, and we were 0-3. The Bills were 0-3 with me in the stadium on the road. This is the first W, so hopefully the curse is broken. Yeah, hopefully the curse is broken. And just for the record, I don't count Jersey. I don't count games with the Jets because I live in Jersey. That's not a real road game for me.
Yeah,
So,
it's not. Yeah, it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
It's like a 20-minute ride for you, right? Basically. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a road game, and I took, after the interception, I got my fries, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back in and see. I go back in, sit down, and I tell LeSean, I said, bro, listen, if Pittsburgh start moving its football, I'm going back outside, bro. I'm not staying here because it's me. I'm the bad luck, right? So we end up handling Pittsburgh pretty well. They did not score again after that 7 points they got earlier. Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't me. The curse is broken. We had a very dominant performance from the Bills. And for all the talk about TJ Watt, who I think is a great player, we ran directly at him all game.
Yes, we did.
Ran
surprising.
Directly at him.
Very surprising.
And it worked. They tried everything. They tried to overload they tried to overload the area that we were running to. That didn't work. They tried everything. They tried 5-man fronts. They tried they tried mugging the gaps. They tried overloading the right side of the field. They tried heavy personnel. They tried, multiple corners. They tried everything. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. So, yeah, man, it was great. Got some pictures. Got a chance to meet some good friends, and got a nice little video. They played Renegade, man, and the Steelers fans booed it. They booed Renegade.
Amazing.
And they said, Play Will
Mhm.
Howard. There was a Play Will Howard. Play Will
Wow.
Howard, and then they switched from that to Fire Tomlin,
Fire
and then
Tomlin.
ultimately they're settled into, hey man, I'm just gonna root for the Bills to win it all because we're not. So
Yeah,
that
there you
that, that
go.
was how that was how it
Welcome
ended. Yeah.
aboard. Welcome aboard, Steeler Nation. And who knows? They may get their wish with Tomlin. I heard a rumor that maybe Penn State maybe after Tomlin. That's interesting, but or at least Roethlisberger hinted at that. So we'll see. What happens there. But
I'm
yeah,
not
I
buying
mean
that.
that I agree with Bill Centric here. Really, if it wasn't for that fumble and the Steelers putting up 7, it could have been a shutout. I mean the Bill, and kudos to the Bills defense. What a great performance all around. And
Yeah.
just seeing what Shaq Thompson is bringing to our defense, and unfortunate that Joey Bosa is going to be out. We're going to get into injuries a little bit, but he made a big play, of course, and our guy Benford coming up with 2 huge plays in this game was great to see. So it was just an overall great effort from the defense, top to bottom. Yes, even though the Steelers and Rodgers is hurting, we smothered the Steelers. I mean, over 43 minutes of
Yeah.
time? Was it 40 minutes of time possession? 43, if I remember correctly. I mean, it's just an incredible amount of time. Kudos to the offensive line as well, Whittle. I mean, especially without Dion and Spencer Brown. So it's good we were able to rest those guys, and we didn't miss a beat. So again, kudos to Aaron Cromer as well for the job he's doing with our whole unit as well. So all around, just an excellent. Again, doesn't mean we're all the way back, Whittle. Hard to say, right? We've seen this before, but that win to me should go a long way. Maybe would you agree establishing our identity a little bit more on what kind of team we need to be going down the stretch in terms of how Josh plays and in terms of how we run the football?
Yeah. Listen. I just need Josh Allen to understand that. Unfortunately, the way he wants to play, we don't have that. Like we're not going to be able to be successful like that this year. Uh, so he's going to have to be okay with playing boring. He's going to have to be okay with playing um, possession style offense where we run the football and we let the run open up things in the passing game. Now, we understand that Josh is capable of taking this group of receivers and making plays to win games. We watched him do it against the Ravens. We watched him do it against the Buccaneers, and we watched him do it against the Kansas City Chiefs. I do think that if we need to lean on that, we can. But the offense is built to not lean on that. So let's take advantage of that. And then when we need to emergency break glass, unleash Josh Allen, we can. But until we do need that, like I'm comfortable with winning this way. It was the more we ran, you could feel the fight just kind of leaving the Steelers. Every 7-yard chunk, 9 yards, 8-yard run, 4-yard run on first down. We're sitting at 3rd and 2, and they hand the ball off to Ray Davis, and Ray Davis, gets 4 yards, or Josh Allen, runs forward and gets 3 yards. You could feel it just felt like they wanted to fight, but they know like they just couldn't. They just couldn't. That was a really dominant performance by this team offensively and really defensively too. DK Metcalf only had 3 receptions for 32 yards, and a good amount of that was on a play where he was in the slot up against Cole Bishop, and Cole Bishop gave him, about 15 yards of cushion. But everybody else, man, I mean, I think Darnell Washington was their most productive pass catcher. He
They should
caught a couple
use
balls
him
over the
more.
middle of the field.
Yeah, they should use him more. They should use him more.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's a loaded tackle, man. Nobody wants to tackle that guy.
Absolutely not. That's massive.
Yeah, let's bring up Trey White. Making a business decision on that. and deciding, yeah, I'm not tackling him. I'm just going to hit him with the Olay and somebody
Yeah.
else clean that.
Sometimes you
Boy,
got to
got
make.
flattened because of that, man.
Yeah. No question about it.
Yeah.
No question about it. And
But
the one thing you mentioned about Josh about running the football, I feel like
mhm.
I want to ask you this because we talked about this in the space. I brought this up about Josh running the ball more as we go down a stretch. I feel like that could open up the passing game too a little bit, Whittle, because the defenses maybe for a little bit middle of the season are like, maybe Josh isn't running as much. We're not seeing it as often. But now that he seemed to get back to that, especially going down the stretch, maybe just that threat of Josh, and then you have to account for that as a defense, just could open something up a little bit more down the field, uh, as we get down the stretch here. And, maybe that's part of why we've seen some, Josh has to run. I think that's really a part of his game. I think, it gets him going. I mean, just that late hit that they didn't call, I thought that was a good thing right at the time. I said, I'm glad they didn't call that late hit. I think that fired the team up in general. I think it kind of got them together. They and it kind of got the juices going for Josh Allen. So in a strange roundabout way, I was glad they didn't call the 15-yard penalty on that. So, but we'll see, how this goes going forward. I do expect it looks like we may have just lost Whittle just for a second, but I'm sure he'll be back. He may be having some technical issues. But yeah, just the thing about Josh and about that hit, I really think, sometimes it's like if any of you are hockey fans too, sometimes you need a physical play. Sometimes you need a big hit to kind of get the team going. And I think that right there got this team fired up. I think that you could see how fast they stuck up for Josh, and you see how Josh was an animal running on that touchdown. And I think that's just who the Bills are in their DNA. This is a long season. 17 games is a long time. And we know Josh Allen plays a very physical brand of football when he's at his best, but we can't expect him to do that for 17 weeks. If he does that consistently for 17 weeks, that 130 plus streak of starting will come to an end faster than you realize. Even as big as he is, we don't want to run the risk of losing Josh for a long time. So I'm okay with it at this point. So it's definitely go time. Yep. And I agree with you on Zellian says, honestly, I'm glad when Allen uses his legs when he needs to late in the game too many times. He bails good pockets and forces passes when he can run short distance. I agree with you. We've seen that a little bit more this year, right, Ellie? And I feel like that's been more often than usual, but maybe it's by design. I mean, I don't want to say, he's purposely not doing it, but maybe we are saying, and maybe in certain situations, he's been a little bit more. And I remember Bean and him talking about in the off season about maybe pacing him a little bit in terms of how much punishment he's taking. He is getting close to 30. His body's been through a lot. We do want to see Josh Allen around for a long time. But listen, if Josh Allen's going to stop running more, he's got to become more of a savant in terms of his ability to read defenses, his ability to, again, like Whittle said, take the small things, become more of a true quarterback. He is really a true quarterback, but he needs to do that even more as he gets older and take a page out of Tom Brady's book. It looks like Whittle may be coming back here. So he, who knows what's going on. I'm not sure, the weather's been crazy all over the country. Who knows with internet issues, but we'll see if we could get Whittle up here shortly. But again, that was an excellent team win all around. And it's funny, and I'm sure Whittle come up. That game, I mean, Pittsburgh's a great football town. It's a team that personally I've always kind of wanted to see the Bills emulate themselves after in terms of fandom, in terms of just how the city is. Like Whittle said, it's like a bigger version of Buffalo. That's a great point, and I've kind of felt that for a long time about Pittsburgh, and kind of wanted us to have that consistency how the Steelers have had for a very, very long time as an organization. So we've been seeing that as well. And listen, I think this is another good point. We're going to get into this as well. And, we're going to call out Keon Coleman in a good way. Good for Keon to see Keon get that touchdown this week. And the Keon slander from Cam Newton may have put a big chip on his shoulder. And he's only 22 and Al has him open, but doesn't get the rock, but also gets blamed. I understand that. And those things are going to happen. I think with Coleman, he's going to earn that back. But I was happy for Keon. Great pump fake for Josh and an excellent touchdown. Whittle, welcome back. How's it going over there?
What's going on, bro?
Internet's
I
been
don't know, man.
flaky. Yeah. Hey,
But
listen, I had some issues earlier too, but
we're back.
back and better than ever. So still just, didn't miss too much. Just kind of talking about Josh running the football and just talking about the Keon Coleman play. And yeah, I agree. This is, that's what that play what Keon Coleman did for that touchdown. That's what we want to see from him the rest of the year. If that's all he gives us the rest of the year, Whittle, I'll take it. Right? He doesn't have to light up the stat sheet. Couple catches. If he comes through big in the red zone, that's exactly what they need going forward. So hopefully we'll see how he responds. What I liked about what Keon did is when I think Porter Jr. was trying to get under his skin on one play. I don't know if you saw that or not. And I thought Coleman showed some really good restraint. I think he did a good job there because, considering all that Coleman's been through, in that kind of game, would have been easy to say, hey, I could just snap. But he did push a little bit back, but he did good. And he didn't kind of engage further. And I just thought Coleman did a good job there of not kind of taking the bait from a Joey Porter. So that was really good to see. Well, I don't know about you, but that game, how it sounded on TV, sounded like a Jets game in September at times. I mean, I feel like it was. I've never heard the Steelers have a great crowd. I mean, that sounded like Bills just took the life out of really the whole building at times, especially late in the second half. But yeah, Whittle's still working on some things here. So he was talking too much. Yeah, had movement, but Keon got his one after that drop. Yeah, and Keon did have that drop, but again, it's just good to see. He's fighting through it. And sometimes in life, we have issues at our workplace or something. Maybe you're not performing the way you should, and he's still fighting through it. So he's still only 22 years old. Heck, when I was 22, I didn't know what was going on in the world either. I was pretty immature myself, so I'm not going to sit here and judge, his character. He's got his opportunity now. This is his chance, and it's up for him to knock it down. He's on one of the best teams in the league. He's in a great organization. He's got a great quarterback with him, and so he's going to be. Yeah, he's a second-year player, not a 29-year-old vet who complains. Yeah, he's going to be okay. I think Coleman still has a great chance. I love his personality. I really want him to be a very popular player here with the Bills. But again, he's just got to learn. Like Deion Dawkins said, being a pro is hard. I mean, it's fun, but it's also difficult. You got meetings to make. You got to be there. You got to be on time or early. You got to show your team what, and because teammates see that. They may not say it, but they see it all the time. So you got to keep earning that respect in the locker room, even though he was a high pick and he has expectations. It's just not handed to you in the NFL. There are great players all around. Everybody's a great player who plays in the NFL. No matter what you think, there's not many players that make it to the NFL. It's very, very difficult. So we'll see what he does going forward. But again, a great win. Offensive line was excellent. Again, kudos really to Vandermark, to really everyone has stepped in. It was just a great overall performance on that. So here with Easy, and yeah, we're getting some great comments. I appreciate these comments. They've been great. So I do, however, view him as a target one. Dream would be to get a true number one in Pickens. Yeah, I would agree. I still think I feel like you a little bit. I feel like they don't really know how to handle Coleman yet. They're still trying to figure it out. Sometimes I feel that way about our offensive coordinator in general. Because, in the past, I feel like we've been trying to do a lot of John Browns. And here's what I mean by a lot of John Browns. We brought in a guy like John Brown in 2019, and his numbers got better with Josh Allen, right? He was a good receiver, became really good under Josh Allen. We did the same thing with Cole Beasley, but we've been trying to do that with Josh Palmer. We've been trying to do that with Curtis Samuel. Not Curtis Samuel. These guys have been injured. I get that. But we just haven't had that spike from those guys that I think we were getting back when we had Brian Dable. And maybe that's partly the OC. Maybe that's partly on the players and their health as well. So there's a lot of reasons why that's been happening. And yeah, listen, and you know what? Great call out. Let's give a shout out to Ray Davis here. I was so happy. This is something we've been talking about here on the pod. If you've been paying attention, I've been talking about, I mean, Jimbo Cook is great. How could you even say enough about the performance that Jim has shown this year. He has taken his game. He's an elite running back now, folks, and I love it. I couldn't be happier. But I still feel comfortable if we get something out of a guy like Ray Davis, if we get something out of Taj, just have something else in the mix. Give Jim a break here and there, and get some production from those second and third running backs. So that was a really great sign to see Ray Davis get that, maybe just that confidence, right? And I feel like maybe he was lacking that in the running game. So good on him to see that. To have him bounce back and see if he could take that going forward. And then about Palmer getting hurt. Yeah, I agree that the injuries, but in this league, you have to be available, right? That is part of what makes you a great pro. And again, I'm not suggesting these guys are, sometimes you just get bad luck. Sometimes it's an injury I always talk about. It's a few years ago when Dak Prescott was throwing the ball, and on his release, his finger, he dislocated his finger on another player's helmet. Sometimes it just happens. You can't avoid certain things. Certain things happen. You just make one bad cut, you pull a hamstring or things like that. So absolutely. Yeah, and I agree. We have the second best running back room behind Detroit. So we have 3 dogs. And listen, Reggie Gilliam too. That's another guy. I love the call outs, the players you're bringing up here, because these are the guys that don't get a lot of love. And I think they deserve it. They really make this offense hum. And Reggie Gilling's been such a solid presence on our team for a long time. I mean, I love the art of the fullback. I'm 50, so I go back a little bit of ways in football and remember the Sam Gashes and some of the old great fullbacks that were in the league at the time. So it's kind of nice to still see a guy like him. So we'll see if Whittle comes back here. I hope he's not having too many technical difficulties over there. So again, we press on. We're about halfway through tonight. And again, we've been recapping the Bills' dominant performance this past week. Again, Josh Allen, 15 to 23 for $123, 123, 1 interception. But like Whittle said, it was very windy. It was a cold night, not really conducive to a lot of passing yards. So after the interception, Josh was very solid, very efficient. Excellent ball fake on that 4th down. That was beautiful, getting the touchdown. And he did it when he had to. What can you say about James Cook? 32 carries, 144 yards. I mean, just his vision, his patience, all the little things that are really happening. And yeah, I agree, Bill Centric. Our running game has really come a long way. And it's a combination of everything. And hopefully what we'll see from Davis, that could be, hopefully that sparks us here. And Dog, you're right. Listen, physical brand of football. This is our identity, folks. Identity is a big part of great teams in NFL history. Look at them all, right? The St. Louis Rams in their old day, when they had Marshall Faulk, they had an identity. You knew exactly who they were. Tampa Bay with their great defense, they had an identity. The Chiefs have an identity. Eagles had an identity last year. We're hopefully starting to get that at the right time. And, we're going to take an overall look at everything after this win as well. But yeah, I mean, just some other call outs really from this game. I mean, it was just, again, overall solid. I mean, Shaq Thompson, excellent game. Shaq Thompson has been such a solid addition to this defense. I mean, I feel like he's really stabilized the middle of this defense, and I really want to see Shaq take this home the rest of the year. I think he's one of our starting linebackers at this point. We don't know about Terrell Bernard. I like Terrell Bernard, but he needs to get healthy. But I think we found something really good here in terms of Shaq Thompson. And and this is, we're going to get into this easy about Chase Brown. We're going to hopefully get a little bit into this Bengal game shortly here. But I agree with you. And again, I want to thank you all in the group chat. You guys are killing it today. So, and it's fantastic. So again, and like Jay said, I agree, Uncle Jay, good to see you here. Hopefully we can stay healthy the rest of the way and through the playoffs. That's going to be very big. I mean, you want to hear an interesting stat from FanDuel, I believe it was. The Bills are still the favorites, folks, to win the AFC. Crazy. Where Bills are now sitting at 8-4. They're a 7th seed in the playoffs. And we're hanging on by a thread, folks, because Houston is right behind us at 7-5. Remember, we lost to them. So little slip up here. If things don't go correctly, we can miss the playoffs. So the fact that the Bills are still the favorites in the conference after all the things we're seeing, and we'll take a little spin around the conference now a little bit and kind of look at some things here. We're getting Whittle back here. Hopefully he is And I see him moving around, so we'll see how things are going over there. So we will continue. But the Bills still sit in that 7th spot. As of right now, it looks like we have, I'm just kind of looking at the playoff picture here on NFL.com. I probably should have put some images up here, but maybe next week I'll do that. If we win this week, we have a 95% chance of making the playoffs. Right now, according to the metrics, we have an 88% shot to make the playoffs, which is interesting. And 76%, but not great. I mean, just, it would be great to seal it off this week, kind of put the Bengals to rest right now. So we're going to start moving into that game a little bit more. But I'm waiting to see if Whittle comes back here. So I will not move into that at this moment. So right at this moment, I just figured let's pay the bills here as we do. I'll do that, and then we'll see how we're looking on the second half of today's podcast.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollo's, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
Okay, we are back for part 2 of our podcast. Want to thank you all. We're almost up to 200 listeners on this Wednesday night, so we're rolling along here. And again, want to thank you all for all support. Make sure you give Do Champions a follow. Give Whittle and myself a follow. Little public service announcement. My Twitter account has changed. Please give me a follow if you can. I'd love to hear from you. I lost some accounts. This is my account here, beyond_716. Don't get me started. I was an idiot and fell for a link that I shouldn't have clicked from, bit of my, vote my podcast, and it wrecked my whole account. So be it as it may, if you're any out there, if you want to give me a follow, I'll instantly follow you back. Great to see that. Yeah, I heard that in the spaces. Rest in peace. Yeah, 2,700 followers down the drain. So if you see my old account, report it as spam, please. Please, please, please. I want to get rid of it. Long story short, Twitter wouldn't even give me my information, even though I signed up for premium. So I had to change my credit card because I don't want them renewing on a Twitter account that I don't even own. So it's ridiculous. You can't even call them. So make sure you got your house in order and don't be like me and click on any links that you don't know about. Crazy that I did that and I work in IT. So let that sink in just for a second. But it goes to show you any one of us can truly fall for one of those gimmicks once in a while. So just be diligent. But let's get back. We didn't want to hear talking about Twitter and all their or X or whatever we call it and all their craziness. So again, Bills are on the bubble. We're sitting here in a 3-way tie, technically, with some other teams. The Chargers, Colts, and Bills, the 5, 6, and 7, all at 8-4. Jaguars sit at 8-4. The Texans are right back. They're back in this at 7-5. I mean, take a look for them. That team is now 7-2 in their last 9. They beat us a couple weeks ago. They're on the rise. I think the Steelers are finished. The Chiefs, will see how they do this week. I feel like this is their last stand this weekend. So we'll see how Kansas City handles business this week as they host Houston. That's going to be a very, very interesting game for me, especially since the way Houston's been playing. We should actually be rooting for the Chiefs, folks. I think getting Houston out of the way would be great. I don't think that's a team a lot of teams in the AFC want to see get in the playoffs at this point. So we'll see how that goes. But let's pivot. So Dave, I really think we want KC to win because we own the tiebreaker over KC. I know Kansas City's always a threat. I get that. But for me, Houston's defense scares me enough to say I would rather them out. And they also own the tiebreaker over us. Now, the likelihood that Houston makes the playoffs, they may actually beat win the division. They still got enough division games where they can take over Jacksonville or Indianapolis. That's going to be one great finish in that division. I agree with Dog. I like KC on this game. I like Johnny's attitude here. I want the Chiefs too. There's part of me that would love a dream matchup where the Bills are 6 and the Chiefs are 7. I want to give Matt, our guy from Do Champions, the credit for this. So he said that's what's going to happen. The Bills are going to get the 6, the Chiefs are going to get the 7. And we're going to play in a 6-7 game. If any of you have kids, you know what this 6-7 stuff is about. Bills Chiefs in the AFC title game. That'd be wild. Imagine closing Highmark on that note. That would be crazy. I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, folks. The only thing I'm focused on personally this week is the Cincinnati Bengals who are coming to town. And let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals just a little bit. And again, if Whittle comes back, we still may circle back. I want to make sure, hopefully, if he has any more to add to that Pittsburgh game. But if any of you have any comments on the Pittsburgh game, I'm definitely game. This is your show, so I want you all to be as interactive as you possibly can and entertain me, because it's not easy doing this without Whittle. It is rough, but we will press on. So again, let's take a look. Actually, before we get into the Cincinnati game. Actually, no, I'm going to save that for later, see if Whittle does come back. So let's pivot to those Cincinnati Bengals. So let's take a look at them. Sitting at 4-8, third place in the conference. They currently have a 3% chance to make the playoffs. Now, that's one of those, if you give me a chance. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my guy Petey here from Jets Commute. Bills dominated. I hope they make some noise. Hey, it's good to hear from you, Petey. And listen, your Jets, they've done the right things. I think they needed to sell. And a nice win for them against Atlanta. I know. Don't worry about draft position. I'm going to tell you why. Look at the great quarterbacks that have been drafted recently. Allen 7, Mahomes 10, Lamar Jackson 28. Say what you want about Hurts. He was a second-round pick. There's been plenty of excellent quarterbacks that have been picked and not in the top 5. So it's about the Jets. For you, making the right pick as more than it is being in that position to make that pick. So, yep. And Dog, you've been holding it down. Whittle is back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he has returned.
Beyond annoyed right now, but
what happened? What's going on over there?
I have no idea what's going on. Like the router is tripping. The wife is on the phone with the people right now trying to figure out what's going on. So we'll figure it out. I'm trying to troubleshoot this stuff, and I don't know what's going on back there, but we'll see.
Sorry about that.
Now, so let's.
Yeah, this is something. Here's a comment from a guy named Ty's YouTube, and I'm going to bring this up here. You think Joe Brady comes out and tries to run the same play over and over again because it worked against the Steelers? So I didn't give a shout out to Joe Brady in this pod because I feel like they ran the same play quite a bit. So it's not like Brady had some exotic playbook that he has never unleashed before. So
He better not. I mean, no. I think against the Bengals, you got to put up points. So, yes, the run game should be, I think, a feature of the offense, especially when you look at some of the numbers that when you look at some of the performance of the Bengals so far this year. Like I know Joe Burrow hasn't been there, but that doesn't do much for the defense. I get it, complimentary football. If Burrow's out there, they're scoring more points. They get to play defense a little differently. The numbers are different. I understand that. Burrow was out there last year. This defense had some of the same pieces outside of the linebackers. And that's it. Like the linebackers are different and the defensive tackles, I think, are different. But the edge guys are the same. The linebackers are different, but the safeties are there. The same guys. The corners, same guys. Defensive ends, same guys. So a lot of the defense that was there last year is there this year, and they are 30th against the 30th against the pass, I believe. I'm about to look it up right now. I had it actually. I have it on my phone. I'll pull it up right now. Let me give you the team rankings on defense. Let me see where they at.
From a DVOA standpoint, which is a metric, they are dead last in the NFL at negative 27.4, which is atrocious. The defensive passing, they're 43.9 negative, and rushing, they're 8.1. I mean, their numbers on defense are atrocious. And for anybody wondering about,
they give up the most points per game.
Yep.
Against the pass, like passing yards per game, they are. Wow, this is really taking a long time to like do everything. Yeah, we really gonna have to get on top of these people today.
Yep.
They're the worst in the NFL against with yards per game. Let's see, yards per pass. Let's see, yards per attempt or completion. Yards per completion. They are 31st in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, like, they're a bad defense. And I know we talked to some Bengals fans, and the Bengals said, over the last 3 games, we've been really good. Well, okay. That's not what the numbers say. They're 29th in yards per attempt, which is like right where we are, 31st. 4.2 yards per attempt over the last 3 games. We're at 4.4. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like they've managed to fix anything. Let's talk about third down conversion percentage. Where are they at? Because the Bills are 13, which they allow teams to convert 37.59% of the time. That's how many times. Cincinnati is 31st, 47.33. So about half. Half the time you get a third down, you're more than likely going to get a first down, because the defense is bad. It just is. Like they now DJ Turner is their main corner. He's played well. Cam Taylor-Britt has been hurt. Dax Hill, they moved him to the outside. They saying he's played well as well over the last over this past season or whatever. But I don't want to be dismissive, but the Bills really should be able to put up points this game. Like, this is not a game that the Bills should struggle with, scoring or moving the football. They should be able to do it. And you're going to have to, because Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase on the other side, not to mention all these other guys that they have as well that they depend on. Mike Gesicki is another guy that's really played well for them. What's his name? Running back Chase Brown. Somebody P. Ryan, like those guys are dogs as well. Andre Yoshavash, their slot guy, their third receiver. He's a big target, 6'3", 2 and some change. He's very fast, very athletic. Really,
he's a Princeton. He's a Princeton.
They have a guy named Jamal. They have a guy named Tinsley that they really like, and I wanted to call him Jamal Tinsley. Name him after the point guard from the Indiana Pacers. Speaking of that, we're gonna get into a little bit of basketball too in a second. I don't think I didn't forget. Don't think I forgot. We're gonna get into a little bit of basketball.
I was hoping you forgot, Whittle. I was hoping. Wait. What happened last night? I don't remember. I kind of, my short-term memory is I'm on the Giannis rumors right now, Whittle. So let me entertain me for a little bit.
So this is so Turtle said Bengals are scary this deep into the season, especially with how healthy they are now. Yes, but this is also something that you want, right? And maybe you agree with me, and maybe you don't. This is something that I want. I want to see how good this cornerback pair is. Like, if Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase can't light up, like if they don't light up Christian Benford and Maxwell Hamilton, like I feel really good about about my corners going forward. That's the best. I think outside of Dallas this year, that's the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL. Not even,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
the best. It's them in
100%.
Dallas, and then Philly and Philly's got a pair of guys that are really good too. Obviously the Rams do, but I don't think that those guys are on the same tier as with Dallas and Cincinnati roll out every week. So if those guys can hold their own, when I say hold their own, I'm not saying that they go in and it's like you look at the box score and like, oh man, Chase had 3 catches for 26 yards. T. Higgins had 4 for 17. Wow, those corners. No, if they did that, I mean, we're going to the Super Bowl. But I that's not
Mhm.
what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a game where Jamar Chase has 7 receptions for 140 yards and a touchdown off of multiple broken tackles where he's just running free in space. No, close the window, close the gap between the defender and the receiver. Make those throws that Burrow sends these receivers way. Make those tough plays. Try to make a
Mhm.
play on the football. And if you can't tackle, secure the tackle, get those guys on the ground. Let's move on to the next down. I don't know.
Yep.
Um, I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know how that works or whatever. But if these guys are able to do that, if they're able to do that, then we're in
Mhm.
good shape. I don't know if they will be. That's why I'm looking forward to this game. I had this game circled all year.
Yep.
Somebody asked me uh, earlier this week if you had to choose between winning this game against the Bengals or winning the division, what would you choose? Just beat the Bengals. I don't care about the division. We won the division multiple times. Doesn't guarantee you a Super Bowl. All it guarantees you is a home game. Uh, so
Mhm.
yeah, I want to beat the Bengals. I want to get that out of the way. I want to end their season now. I want to give them their ninth loss and send them packing to go out and complete some mock drafts. That's what I want to happen.
Mhm. Absolutely. This is a great test for our defense too, Whittle, especially the pass defense, which is now number 1 in the league. So we're going up against 2 of the best receivers, like we said. Joe Burrow's a great quarterback, especially now he's healthy. So it's definitely going to be. Oh, we got a Bengals fan making some predictions here, Whittle. We got a Bengals fan rocking down the 36-30 loss for us this week. So we're getting to some predictions. So we do love the banter and welcome to our pod. But I'll just do the Josh Allen go. Okay, that's perfectly fine. We'll put it on file and we'll move on. But this is going to be a big test for our defense. I mean, this is a game, and I'm with you. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm not running from it. I didn't want this to be their backups. I don't want Joe Flacco in there. I know Jamar Chase. No, I want to take on the best. Right. This is a time of year. If the Bills want to go where they want to go, Whittle, I want to see the best. If I don't want to get there by playing backups and doing all that stuff. I don't want to hear about that. So you think we're going to see this a lot against the Bengals, Whittle? Dice2 says we're going to see a lot of man coverage against the Bengals. You think we'll see more of that this week than usual? Or do you think we do
I
more
don't
zone?
know, man. I mean, I don't. I think you will see some. I don't think you'll see a lot though.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the numbers go, I know some of y'all don't care about the stats. One of the Houston Texans fans, Dr. Barrett, he says yes, he calls them nerd stats. He doesn't care about the nerd stats, but here we do. We pay attention to those. And according
Yep.
to some of the analytics, man, the Bengals have Joe Burrow has not not played great. Obviously, it's a very very small sample size. Talking about 1.5 games early or 1 game and a quarter from the beginning of the year, and then last week against the Ravens. Um, but against zone, they haven't done as well uh, compared to man. And I mean, with man, it's tough because Chase is such a great route runner. T. Higgins is such a he's so crafty with the way that he can create separation and make plays at the catch point. it's difficult to play man coverage on those guys because Joe can really just throw the ball to an area that they're at, and those guys usually make the play. Like eight out of 10 times, they're gonna make the play. So I would expect to see zone. I think when you don't see zone and you do see man, there's a really good chance that there's a blitz coming, and there's a really good chance that it's probably third and long, or second and long, or whatever. You want to make sure that you don't give Joe Burrow enough time to, and those receivers, you don't want to give them enough time to, find open space or create some separation and turn, what was an advantageous down and distance situation for the defense into a first down for the offense. So you want to keep the pressure on, and a lot of times it's not even to get home, just to get the ball out. Like, I want them to throw the football 4 yards in front of the sticks, and let's tackle. Let's get off the field. Let's get them to 4th and 3 and get off the field. So that's what I think, man. I mean, I think this Bosa injury does, if he can't play, and I don't expect him to play, week to week tells me that he's not going to go this week, and they'll see what he looks like next week before they make a determination on whether he can go next week.
Speaking of Whittle, I'm gonna pop up those injury moves as we go through those as well. It would be a good time to show those. So we got Bosa. So they're saying week to week with him, Whittle. They're not talking IR for him, are they?
No. But they did make a move, though. They did sign a guy, a defensive end, and put him on the practice squad. Also, last week, against the Steelers, you saw T.J. Sanders line up a little bit at edge. I'm gonna pull up I can pull up his PFF numbers because they sort by alignment. I'm not pulling up his grade. I don't do PFF. I don't do that.
No, same.
They get on my nerves with that. But let me find him. Not teams. Play. Got T.J. Sanders. What year? Position. Okay. What week are we? 13. Yeah, it's not telling me. All right. Well, that was a waste. 13 spots on the D line. I thought they gave it to you by D tackle or defensive end, but they don't. It is what it is. But he did line up. He did line up some snaps on.
Not sure if Whittle froze up there or not. I could see his face sort of in a frozen state. So we'll see if he comes back here for sure. So again, those injuries. So it's looking a little bit cleaner. I'll bring that up here just for the moment, just to kind of go over them just a little bit more. Terrell Bernard, again, looks like he'll be out this week. Joey Bosa, I do expect to be out as well. I think he's week to week. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him really until the Eagles after Christmas. If you ask me, I have a feeling that's what we're going to do. So Whittle just dropped, so hopefully he'll be back shortly. Spencer Brown limited, Dawkins limited. Will be interesting to see how they handle that, considering how well the offensive line played last week. I know different team, different challenges, of course. But the rest of the list, looks pretty solid. We'll see what Kincaid does this week. I think this is a game we could really use him. Points are going to be needed. We need, I think 34 is a magic number. We'll get into that shortly. Sanders, I'm not sure about Joshua Palmer as well, but hopefully we're moving a little bit more towards that. Ed Oliver, we'll see how that goes. We still got a couple more weeks before we talk about Ed. So we'll leave that alone. And again, we are back here about an hour in, so it doesn't look like Palmer. I don't think so, dog. I don't think he's going to play this week. I think they may be saving him for New England, but again, we're not in the business right now, to me, of saving things, right? We're getting to that point. 8-4, week 13. It's go time, right? This is the time of year. Maybe you save guys in week 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You say, yeah, okay, let me give that guy a couple of weeks off. Now, if you're good enough to play, you're going to play. So I do expect, basically, if they can't go, they'll be back as soon as possible. In that case, but yes, Cincinnati Bengals. We've been talking about them. I mean, they're gonna present a very interesting challenge. There's a couple of things on this front. Number one, this is a team that Josh Allen has not beaten. And this, version of the Bills, we've had our struggles against Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know it's a different team, different circumstances and whatnot. But the one thing that the Bengals do have in this game that a lot of teams can't say is they have confidence walking into Buffalo that they can win. They've done it before. Joe Burrow's done it before. So those things do count in these situations, I believe, when trying to win in a place like Orchard Park, which is the toughest place to win a game this decade in the NFL. Number one team at home in the NFL. So it's going to be, as far as the weather goes, and this is the time of year. I'm a weather buff. You'll hear me talk about it a lot here on the pod. It's going to be a nice blustery 8 degrees for the low temperature on Sunday, high of 30, so very cold. The good news from what I'm seeing, though, it looks like the wind is going to be decent. It doesn't look like the wind's going to be over 10 miles an hour. So that's a good thing in terms of the passing game because, we saw in the Great New England game in 2021, it was 3 degrees, but there was no wind. And if there's no wind, Josh Allen can throw the ball over the field. It doesn't matter if it's -5 or 50. It doesn't matter. So he'll find a way. So I don't expect the passing games to be adversely affected by the cold weather. We should see a good amount of points in this game. So again, the Bengals, I didn't look at their full injury report, but again, they do have great receivers, offensive line. I haven't really studied the Bengals as much this year as I usually would. Mike Gesicki, again, is an interesting guy, tight end. Seems to have good games against the Bills for whatever reason, at least from my remembrance. No, I don't think we're getting a snow game on Sunday. I mean, maybe. You never know with Western New York, and a lot of you know if you're from the area. You never know how things could go on that front in terms of that. But it doesn't look like maybe a chance of flurries from what I'm seeing for that turtle. So that we could see. So maybe that will give us a little December feel to it as we get closer and closer to shutting down Highmark Stadium, if you could believe it. Us old fans that grew up a Rich Stadium and the Ralph, it's going to be amazing that we're not going to be playing there anymore. I think it's really going to hit for that last game against the Jets, and which may be likely our last game at home. So again, a spin around again. We were talking a little bit earlier. The New England Patriots won again. Thank you, Giants, for nothing, by the way, this past week. But the New England Patriots sit at 10-2. The Bills sit at 8-4. And also the Patriots currently own the tiebreaker as constructed. It's going to be tough sledding, folks, for the Bills to win the division. The Patriots are off this week, so the Bills have a chance to get to 9-4. And we'll see how that goes coming up as the Bills will get ready. Are the Patriots 11-2? Am I not giving them an extra win here? They're 11-2. I apologize. The Patriots are 11-2 because I was thinking, how could they be off? So the Bills sit, if they win, they're 2 full games out. Even if the Bills win, they're still going to be, if they win this week against the Bengals and then they win against New England, they're still 1 game behind. So not looking very good for the division. But again, I don't want to handicap that far out. The only thing I'm worried about this week is the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is going to be a team again. This is their season, folks. Now, the odds of the Bengals making the playoffs are still incredibly slim, even if they win this game. But, this team's going to give it their all. They had a very impressive showing on Thursday night in Baltimore, 32-14 win. I think they got some of their swagger back a little bit with Joe Burrow in the lineup. I mean, the Ravens were a mess, 5 turnovers. So again, that's going to be big in this game. Ball control, keeping it, not making mistakes. Burrow was 24 46 for 261, 2 touchdowns, kind of a vintage Burrow game, in my opinion, in terms of attempts as well. Running game was nice with Brown with 15 carries, 78 yards. And Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is just that dude. Let's be honest. He is incredible. So 8%. Okay, I thought it was a little bit lower, Turtle, but 17%. So that, we'll see what happens is. And I love what you said about the Pats here. One and done. You know what? I need you to be right on that one. And I want to be the team to knock them out, right? Dog, you were saying that last week. You were also talking about the Pats being one and done. So we'll see how that goes. Well, Patriot Week will be next week. We'll certainly pivot into that. And Whittle maybe make an appearance here. Again, we're a little over an hour in, so we're getting close to the end of our pod for tonight. But again, these Bengals are going to, I agree with this. They didn't suffer long enough. Let's all tip our cap. I think as Bengal and Bills fans, we could all agree, right? New England, enough. Come on. You only have 4 or 5 years. I don't need them back and better never. And I still want to see more from New England in terms of that. So, everybody's anointing them again, totally back. But get back to me in about a year on that. I want to see a little bit more. So, anyway, let's pivot to this Bengal game. Let's talk brass tacks. Let's talk some predictions now. We'll get into this a little bit. In terms, again, we set the table for the weather. Should not be a major factor, even though it's going to be cold. The 1 o'clock start time is kind of an interesting thing, too, because now you don't have that 4 o'clock game when it's dark and even colder. But so it should be at least at the time of day where it should be tolerable in that stadium. And the wind does not look like it's going to be too much of a factor. So this game, again, for me, from the Bills' point of view, is going to come back to red zone defense, going to be very important because we all know the Bengals are going to eat a little bit on offense in terms of Joe Burrow, in terms of Chase. These guys are just too good. You can't hold them down all game. But I'm looking, if Joe Burrow could be held to about maybe 250 and 260 in that range and maybe just, clamp down a little bit when they get to the red zone, maybe we could force a mistake. In terms of that, yes, and I agree, Turtle. They have been bad in the red zone, so I'm hoping that's one thing that continues this game. I remember they were talking about that on Thursday night on the Ravens game, but again, Burrow's been out all year, so it's really hard to judge the stats based on what they've been doing because this is feels like a new iteration of the Bengals just appeared in the last 2 weeks. So we're definitely not getting in my opinion, we're not getting a 4-8 team here. We're getting more of a 7-5. Let's say they were 7-5. If this was a 7-5 matchup, this is a 4 o'clock game and Tony Romo's there, and this is the biggest game of the week. So it really comes down to that. So as far as predictions go, and I'm still waiting to see if Whittle comes back, but I'll lay a prediction now. We're about an hour and 7 in. And he said 4 field goals in the first half against really Burrow. And listen, Evan McPherson, he is one of the best kickers in the league. That guy's a dog. That guy's fantastic. So we're going to go to predictions time. And in the chat, let's get your predictions in for this game. I think, again, this is going to be a game where Burrow eats. I think we're going to get their best shot. I think the first half is going to be big in this game. If I were the Bills, I want the ball. I want to get the lead against the Bengals, against this kind of offense. I think that's the best call here. I do expect Josh Allen to be very effective. I do expect the Bills to put up points. I'm going to call this game being one of those games that's going to be tight, and I do expect the Bills to pull away late. I'm going to go with a 38-27. We got a Bengals fan calling a prediction, but I'm going 38-27 Bills. But I'm going to give the Bengals some respect here in terms of their ability to play big in this kind of game. They've done it before. I know it's not the same team, but I think the Bills get it done late. And again, I think this is an important win psychologically for the Bills. I know we've only lost to the Bengals really twice in the Josh Allen era like this. I mean, the Damar Hamlin game doesn't count to me. I don't care what anybody says in that case. So it would be good, I think, mentally for them, especially this defense too, to play well against this type of offense. So I'm looking forward to that. I think the Bills get it done, and I think we head to Foxborough 2 games out, and we'll see what next week brings And we got a Whittle prediction 34-23. So he's in the background. He's having some internet issues. So we're probably going to close out here. So I'm going to start setting us up here. So I want to thank Whittle, as always, the one and the only. 118 episodes for our podcast. Looking forward to many more. Again, I hope you all have a great week ahead. If you're going to the game, enjoy. We got, again, as far as other rooting interest, there's so many things to worry about. We just need to win this week, get to 9-4, and let's get it done this weekend. And hopefully we stay healthy, and we'll get this big dub against Cincinnati. Next week, we'll get into Patriots week. Remember, we used to call it Patriots week when Tom Brady was in town. Well, it's back again. So this should be a huge game in Foxborough. Hopefully we're rolling in at 9-4 going into Foxborough. So I want to close out the show today. We're hour and 10 in. Thank you all very much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. And I'll just say it again as we close out. We will say go Bills, and I will see you all next week.